for the people that need those. And I'm sure there's other projects, but you know, you go down to the north end, we debated a snow shoveling ordinance 2 years ago. And my goodness, you walk on North Union Street on the west side, there's a section down there more than once, there's no sidewalk. We're debating and trying to get people to shovel the dirt in front of their house or next to their house. That's appalling to me. We ought to have sidewalks and curbs and everything like that. So my suggestion would be to take that surplus in an amount that's not reckless and start doing things to help bolster the city, especially on the north end. We're more worried about developing a country road out here on the east end than we are our people in the north end of town. The north end needs help. So that's what I would do.
Okay.
You're referring to the same way?
Yeah.
Okay. Which gets quite a lot of traffic off of Gilpin Road, or from out.
Not when our people are suffering.
And those are really two different things there, right? Because the money that we'd be matching the state, hopefully getting $900,000 to $1 million in grants, that's coming from money that's earmarked for transportation, road projects. On the sidewalk side of things, we have done, was it 3 or 4 curb and sidewalk on Indiana Street this year. We're continuing to send letters to property owners and asking for them to participate in the 50-50 match. And it gets a little hairy. I wouldn't be completely opposed to doing 100% curb and sidewalk. But then you have residents that in years past have paid 50% for their curb and sidewalk. And so at what point do you just start paying for it 100%? It's difficult. It would have to be fairly well planned out. I'd like to point out that if you want to do 300 foot of curb and sidewalk on both sides of the street, you're looking at about $155,000. And we've got a lot of blocks in the city of Delphi. Those are my thoughts.
Okay.
I never said 100%. Just
Okay.
I think I say that. Let's go. Code.
We talked about a lot of Marlene Charlesworth and I live on Front Street. We are talking about a lot of big things that none of us here are few as to probably control or know if you're doing it or not. But there's other things, and the things that are common, ordinary, everyday things we encounter. We have a lot of speeding in the town, and nothing is done about people that are driving too fast, which makes it very hazardous for pedestrians and trying to get across Main Street. And we don't have any markings that are safe spots for pedestrians to go. We don't have any signs that say, this is a pedestrian-friendly town, that says, watch out for people who are walking. And I can tell you I walk a lot, and I feel like a target most of the time when I'm trying to cross streets. And I just think we need to talk about some of the common, ordinary, everyday problems that we have, that we can do something about.
And that kind of leads into what I was going to ask about next, if that's okay with you, Marlene.
Yes.
And that would be code enforcement. You know, we've done a lot of talk about code enforcement, and speeding is, you know, that's part of it. Parking is part of it. People have asked me to ask, why aren't the codes enforced? Traffic codes specifically.
Oh, sure.
Traffic codes, I mean, certainly some are, but can you answer that, Mayor? What determines how those things become enforced?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, for instance, police officers, they put almost 5,000 miles a month on their cars. And yet you don't see them patrolling the streets a lot. What you saying?
I would say you see them patrolling pretty frequently, and I know speeding may not be their top priority. I know when we have the new system that puts together the calls for service, and now we're seeing the numbers of vehicles stopped versus the number of tickets and warnings that are given. The number of vehicles stopped are quite a bit higher than the number of tickets and warnings that are issued. To me, that indicates a police department that's getting probable cause to look for something else. They're trying to get misdemeanor and felonious behavior, and aren't necessarily as concerned about the speed. Speed's definitely important, Marlene, and I'd be interested in what we can talk later on about what you would like to see marked with crosswalks. I know on the east end we do have quite a few of the pedestrian signs, but we can talk later on. We can make enforcement of speeding, especially, more of a priority.
I'm just wondering what's, Dale, you want?
Should have already been a priority. If you look back, I mean, this is where I come from. I used to be a patrolman, and we did our job. Not to say that these guys aren't, don't get me wrong, but the priorities messed up. You got 5,000 miles per month average, give or take. And then you've got 8 or 9 or 15 traffic tickets written. Do you realize how much that is per mile? It's atrocious. Or how many miles it is per ticket. It's atrocious. The leadership is not where it needs to be. We don't, and you talk about the numbers of stops and the numbers of tickets and warrants. We're going to get sued. I mean, that's flat out all there is to it. Eventually, we're going to get sued. And here's why. When you stop 42 cars, and you only write 13 pieces of paper, you've got all these other people up here going, why was I stopped? Well, he said because I was speeding, but I wasn't. And you've got all this other stuff. If you write them a paper, and I'm not advocating writing everybody a ticket, don't get me wrong, but they ought to at least have a written warning. And that documents that stop. That puts that stop into the category of being legitimate. And if you don't do that, then people are always questioning. And you're going to end up getting sued, and that's a fact from the academy. And we've got to do better with that.
Spence? Don't get defensive,
No,
say your name and.
I'm Spencer, I live up on Heritage Drive. As far as the ticket goes and ticket to warning ratio and stuff like that, everything's documented in our CAD. So not everyone always gets an actual piece of paper, but every reason for the stop is documented. So that way, that prevents the suing part of it. So my question is, speaking of leadership, you know, as a mayor, you get to appoint the chief of police. Who would you appoint as chief of police, or would you keep the same one?
I'm not getting into personnel issues. I don't think that's appropriate. I don't think that's fair to anybody. So I appreciate your question, though.
Shane, you wanna do it?
I would love to keep Steve Mullen as chief of police. I think he's, no offense to you, Spencer, no offense to you, Deputy Baines, I think he's the hardest working police officer in Carroll County. The knowledge that Steve Mullen has in terms of his interrogation, his interview skills, his ability to communicate with people, I think Steve is top notch, and I bet if you asked almost any other officer in Carroll County, they would say the same thing. Steve works day in and day out. He's up as early as could be, reading reports. He'll come in the middle of the night if you have a situation. Steve really is top notch.
None of your department heads, Mayor, are, none of your hired department heads are salaried. We've had that conversation.
Yes, we have.
Yes, we have. And that means that they earn overtime, so including the chief of police. So when he comes in at night, when he does, and you know, I was sitting in a county council meeting 2 weeks ago when Chief Mullen was referred to as the county department, the sheriff's department's IT person. So I wonder, you know, not that we all don't like Steve Mullen, because we do, but how fiscally responsible is that for him not to be a salaried person, as well as other department heads?
I don't believe, and I'll have to go back and look, I don't believe Chief Mullen has taken any money in overtime in the last 3 years. I could be wrong, but I was just looking at the employee compensation on gave way earlier today. I don't believe he has.
That's the
But
legal.
it could.
Well, it's not illegal because you can take compensatory time, you can take other ways to.
Well, compensatory time is the same as taking pay. Because you're getting paid for not being there.
Okay, I phrased that wrong, then he could work from midnight to 2 a.m. and then go home at 2 in the afternoon after coming in at 8 a.m. and still get 40 hours.
So he's only working 40 hours a week. You can't have it both ways.
Right.
Either he's working more than 40 hours a week, or he's working 40 hours a week and he's not being compensated in any way.
I'll have to go back into it.
Okay.
Bill, you wanna weigh in on that?
I think it's something to look at. I think it's what's in the best interest of the citizens of Delphi. You know, I'm not, I don't have any of those figures to where I can sit here and make an intelligent comment on it. But I look at it.
Would you advocate for the department heads to be salaried?
That's what I mean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you one way or the other on that. I would have to really study that, see what's in the best interest for the citizens. Making sure that they get protection and everything like that in the process.
Yes, Jane?
Well, I'm trying to decide who this debate is with. Is it with Debbie and Shane, or are you just asking questions? And secondly, I'd like to say regarding sidewalks, what happened to people replacing their own sidewalks? My mother did it twice in 2 properties in town. Take pride in your property and replace the sidewalks yourself.
Not everybody can afford that.
Well, I know that, but, you know, if they don't wanna shovel dirt, then, you know, this was some time ago, but my mother certainly didn't have a lot of money, and she saved up her money for new sidewalks in front of her house because she took pride in her property.
That's a very elitist attitude, and I don't think that it's.
I don't think so. I don't think so. It depends on how you feel about your property. My mother was not an elitist, but she cared for her property. I take issue with that.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. Currently, I believe there is a facade program, a city facade program. And I'm wondering if you're elected, Dale, would you continue that program? How would you run that program? Do you know anything about that?
I know a little bit about that sitting on the city council. I don't have any expert knowledge of it. I would take a leadership approach to where that was run in a situation and run properly to where there wasn't any wasted funds, and utilizing contractors who could very well take care of the situation.
And you know how it's run right now?
Not to where I can say for sure.
And the same question to you, Mayor.
So
There is
interest-
one, how's it run, and would you continue?
I would continue. The city council was budgeted for next year, and they actually changed the line item title to include residential properties in it. And I've started looking at, I believe it's IHCDA, what their policies are as it pertains to residential grants for their owner-occupied rehabilitation, which does include some of the inside. I think the way the city council phrased it is that it will be exterior only. Board of Public Works and Safety, at one of the work sessions, we kind of just discussed what I found in the IHCDA policies. There's nothing set in stone, but there would definitely have to be a policy and application procedure. There'd have to be some sort of scoring to determine if you have more applicants than what you have funds, who you would fund and what kind of projects you fund. I think that's gonna take discussion amongst the citizens, the city council, the Board of Public Works and Safety to really nail that down. And it's probably a work in progress. It's not gonna be perfect the first year on the residential side of things.
And it's been on the business side.
Correct, it's been on the commercial side.
And, how much money has been spent on that?
I don't know that off the top of my head. I don't know if only 5 or 10,000 out of 15 was spent last year. I really can't remember.
15 was appropriated, wasn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and is that, Dale, is that what it is again this year?
I believe that is correct. Yes, it's
Okay. Anybody else with questions? Yes,
My name is Gail Oberholzer. I used to live in Delphi. I don't anymore. I'm interested in Delphi. I have family in Delphi. I would like to have each of you give me one creative way that you would attract people to Delphi. Something out of the box.
You want this right now? I'll let President Pro Tem.
I would stay consistent and with what I said earlier, and I would be on television and try to attract people, and I realize that's not really unique, but it's something we're not doing. It's unique to us. And I'd want us to be on TV to show people what we really are, people that don't come here, people that live 2 or 3 cities away or whatever like that, and highlight the high quality and the qualities of the city to where they can look at that on TV and say, man, I'd like to go there. That restaurant looks good. That canal park looks good. That opera house is beautiful. I'd like to go visit that. I think you just got to get it out there in front of people, and you want to get people to come here to look at stuff like that, sway them when they get here, and try and, you know, hey, they've got a housing development out here. Maybe this would be a good place to live.
I give 2. One, neither of them may be very good. One, I think you could utilize every door direct mail and identify areas where people may be moving out of, or where people don't want, where you see a lot of variability in the housing over there, and try to target those areas. The USPS has great statistics on income, on the number of people living there. I don't know if you're able to get average age, but you may be able to get a lot of different demographic information. Then on my second one would be a more analytical approach, and I don't know how you would do it, and you asked for outside the box, so I'm going to give you outside the box. But you try to find those drivers or those key indicators that would highlight when somebody's going to move, so that you could identify those people, and it would probably be from some source of advertising company, or companies that advertise videos all the time on the internet, but trying to find which individuals in the surrounding counties are going to realtor sites or getting on Zillow and being able to identify those people. I have no idea how you do that. But I think if you could identify those people, you're going to spend less money on marketing because you can target those individuals. I'm not saying it could be done, but you have to go outside the box.
One of the things that I thought of also is that Illinois' economy is terrible. And one of the things that I thought of is to maybe do some direct mailing or stuff like that to people in Illinois and follow the state's lead and say, hey, their lead is to bring businesses here. I don't see any reason why we couldn't take that lead and convert that to housing and things of that. Of course, you gotta have housing, but, you know, and bring people here like that, as long as they learn how to drive.
That really easy. I just wondering, I like Delphi because it is small. And I'm just wondering how many people here want Delphi to grow? Do you want our population to double? Do you want the problems that come with the bigger city? I'm not sure any of us really want new subdivisions in this city. And I think that rehabbing the houses we have, rehabbing the stores, and bringing people here for shopping, for concerts, for all kinds of things, is a great way to improve the economics of a small town without ruining what's great about a small town. So, what do you think of that?
I never said anything, certainly never said anything about doubling the population. I just want some houses here to where we can maintain our schools in a decent fashion, maintain our businesses, and grow our tax base. I'm not talking doubling. I don't think that's even realistic in the next 30 years. But, you know, 5 or 10 houses a year for the next 5 years would help us immensely.
The other thing I don't want is a big new jail. I think we should figure out how.
Please don't build a jail.
$10 million.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, yes.
I don't know if I wanna put this out there. We haven't talked about the water project like all night, and that's dominated most door-to-door conversations, most of the news. Is that something, it's 7:50, we still have the clerk treasurer's office. I'd be open to having another debate about the water project if we wanted to do that. I'm not gonna talk President Seward if you want to do the same.
Yeah, I was kind of waiting for somebody here to bring it up and nobody did, so.
As much as everybody wants to debate.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, that's great, because it really is time for us to do our wrap-ups, so we can take a little break and maybe go to the next. So,
I did.
okay, Shane, why don't you look at it?
So it's been a long hour and a half, and we talked about a lot of good things. I appreciate everybody coming out here and look around the room and see. I mean, we've got young and old, we've got business owners, we've got retirees, we've got people that live inside and outside of the community, and it really shows how much this community means to this group of people. Look, President Pro Tem Seward and I mean, we wouldn't be up here doing this if we didn't love this community and wanted to see what's best for this community. I appreciate everything that you guys do to make this city great, because it's the volunteer spirit within the city of Delphi that really makes it thrive, and makes people want to come back here, that gives you the connections when you're younger to come back to the city. I appreciate it, and thank you for coming.
The city is beautiful, the city is great. Let's just keep pushing forward with other options to make it even better. I told you what I would do, and that was that I would give you an option and a choice and not an echo, and I've done that. I'm open for and available for questions. Send me an email, talk to me in person, whatever you want to do. I'll be happy to answer your question. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.